Good morning. Once again, the Talk Shop resuming Sound Adventures brought to you in part by the Benton Rusty, 308 South 2nd Street. Our friends at the Benton Rusty. Stop by for all your unique fourth quarter shopping needs, taking you into Christmas, Thanksgiving, all the holidays coming ahead, and the Super Bowl of Halloween. Trunk or Treat Laramie. Perkins Restaurant and Bakery reminds you that the Trail of Treats begins and ends at Perkins Restaurant and Bakery. That's 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. in the University Plaza. You don't have to worry about that microphone. Just talk, and you will be good. We're in Studio 255 with Oscar Lilly. Good morning.
Good morning.
And good to have you. What organization are you working so hard for, Oscar?
So I'm with Robbie's House, which is a mental health clubhouse, Laramie's own, and we're one of only 2 in the state.
Robbie's House founded how long ago?
I've considered everything before January 1st of 2024 year 0. So last year was year 1. We're in year 2. But the committee actually formed, the committee to form Robbie's House started during COVID, actually. So the early board meetings were actually over Zoom during COVID, during the lockdown stuff. So it's about 5 years in the making.
And a really powerful mission. Tell us about that.
So essentially, we want to join the mental health ecosystem, but in a totally different non-clinical care model that we feel like can really dovetail great with what's already available with counseling, with hospitalizations and all this stuff. And what it is anywhere a person goes, they're a patient or a client. But when they become a member of Robbie's House, when they come through our door, they're not being served. They're not someone that we're fixing. They are signing up to be a part of a community that looks after each other. And when you have that ownership, when the clubhouse is yours, they're walking into their building. They're not walking into a building scared and alone going, oh my gosh, I can't go there. I got to ask for this. They're going into a building that's theirs. So that's the difference.
Who inspired Robbie's House? Tell us about that.
So, and this is great because we're going to be speaking at the Shepherd Symposium next week about this. But the concept behind Robbie's House is that from tragedy, you can build positive change with your community. So this was inspired by Robbie Ramirez, who tragically died in an altercation with a police officer in 2018. And there was a lot of anger. There was a lot of division in Laramie at the time. And a lot of hate, a lot of people hurt and upset. And what we did was we turned that tragedy into something that was positive and good for the whole community. And Robbie suffered from schizophrenia. It got more and more severe as he got older, and schizophrenia was a major factor in his death, and how the community and the people in charge react to people with mental illness needed to change. So from the settlement, from that tragedy, caused changes in the law enforcement community here as far as getting critical intervention team training, where police officers are specially trained to work with people with mental illness and understand how to interact with them during a mental health crisis. The other prong was to have a sanctuary for people with mental illness. Because Robbie, when he left the state hospital in Evanston, they said, see you in 6 months. So the people at the state hospital considered it just a revolving door with no end, with no hope. And Robbie said, how does anyone expect me to get better if I'm just dropped right back in the same environment I'm in? So now when people leave behavioral health services at Ivanson Memorial Hospital, the day they're released, they can come through our door and have welcome arms meeting them to know that they don't have to go back to that same revolving door.
Oscar, this sounds most amazing. How did you find your involvement with Robbie's House?
Sure.
What brought you to the organization?
So my family's got a long history of service. My grandparents, Shirley and Frank Lilly, were both county commissioners. And Shirley Lilly was known in the community for being a major volunteer and committed to community service. And that was kind of a family legacy. I was in the military for quite a while, was medically retired. I was a teacher, and I discovered that whenever I just had a job, I'd become very depressed. I actually have bipolar disorder, PTSD, severe chronic depression. I've been hospitalized for mental illness multiple times. I was in a 2-year program for PTSD in the military in Fort Carson. So I lived it. I was a loved one of a person whose life was essentially destroyed from severe mental illness. And then I've lived it as an advocate, as a non-commissioned officer in the Army and looking after soldiers and soldier suicide. So that was all a part of me. When I moved back from Alaska and got back to Laramie, I reached out to a friend after a tragic suicide in the high school community. And I said, how can we do a grassroots effort to make this better? Because everyone's saying the hospital's got to do better. The state's got to fund more.
Everybody pointing every other way.
Exactly. Everyone's saying this other person's got to do something. And I was fed up with it. I'm so tired of hearing people whine. Grab a shovel if you're upset. I'm sorry, getting all fired up.
No, you're right. You're right. Grab
so
a shovel.
I got,
get in, do.
Yes,
there are only so many doers in the world, right, Oscar?
And I got sick of it.
Yeah.
So I said, what's the best grassroots organization right now, local, that I can dive into? And my friend said, you know what? I'm the treasurer of Robbie's house. And I'd never met Robbie. I didn't know anything about Robbie other than what was in the news.
Yeah.
Didn't know Deb.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, can I be on the board? So I was on the board, and the vice president stepped down and asked me to step in her place, so I became vice president.
Okay.
And then I accidentally became director, which I think a lot of directors become directors on accident. I've discovered, because they're asked to help, and then suddenly they're holding the keys to the kingdom, and they go, "How did this happen?"
Cheers to the doers.
Yes, sir. So that's what happened. I became an accidental director about 1.5 years ago, and we've been doubling and tripling and quadrupling in size and scope ever since. So
yeah. You mentioned your resolve to do something about this situation in our society.
Yeah.
What bridges the gap for those that don't have that personal strength that you found inside you to come out?
We bridge the gap. Period.
You welcome
Robbie's house.
You welcome them.
Yeah, Robbie's house bridges the gap. The people that say I can't do it need to spend a couple weeks doing our program. And I'll tell you, we've got real hard number evidence that this works. We do a wellness intake survey when people first come in.
Benchmarks.
A benchmark. Yeah. And this is all self-reported. This is not us observing. This is people saying, this is how I feel. We get that base survey, and then after 6 months, we do, or at least at the minimum of 6 months, we do another identical survey, self-reported. For the people that do our program, the average increase in score is 20%. For the control group, so the people that signed up but didn't stick with the program, we reached out and asked for an update. Their average change is 0%. We've got our own built-in control group. We know that lives change when you stick with what we do, period.
Does the retouch survey help to interest those surveyed to come to Robbie's house after denying the service initially?
That's my hope, is that, because I tell everyone, I say, if you stick with this, your score is going to go up 2 letter grades. Because I tell them, like, if you get a 66%, your life is a D right now. And I'm not telling you it's a D. You're telling yourself that it's a D, right?
Right.
Those people, 6 months, 8 months, whatever later, are living a B life, self-reported. So when people don't stick with it for whatever reason, I tell them, if you want to have your life be better, give this a shot. And actually, we just did an updated survey with a prodigal member. I call them prodigals. When we get those that pop in, we haven't seen them in 6 months. I did a survey with a prodigal that had been gone for a year that was super active. And that prodigal score actually dropped 30 points. And I was devastated because the level of that person's score was so low that I considered it a crisis. and I said, will you just stick with us? Because I guarantee you, we'll check again in a month, 3 months. We'll keep checking on this and see it go up. So when you have a bad day, you can look at the climb you're making. So yes, that self-awareness really helps, because when you're living in it, you don't maybe notice that it's better, right? So when you can see it and go, oh my gosh, I was in rough shape back then and I'm better now.
Reflection
Then you feel
is
that
powerful.
climb happening. You feel that growth in yourself.
Yeah.
So
Community that care is really powerful.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to learn more about Robbie's House and
Cool.
the endeavors you're doing. And Oscar Lilly joining us here on the Talk Shop. This segment brought to us in part by Perkins Restaurant and Bakery, reminding you that Trunk or Treat's just ahead, October 31st, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. in the University Plaza. There's an event tonight, and tell us about this gala.
So it is the Robbie's House is presenting the second annual World Mental Health Day Gala. We had a wonderful time last year. It was immensely successful, even though we didn't know what we were doing, and we know a little more than what we didn't know last time, and we feel very confident going into tonight. We've got 12 more tickets, but it's a lot of fun. We've got a live auction, live music with Larkspur. Nick's Cowboy Catering is going to make us a cowboy meal that's going to be great. We've got drink tickets. It's a ton of fun. We've got a live auction this year that's different from last year. We've got an auctioneer auctioning off baskets and big portraits and stuff like that. So it's going to be a blast, and it's always a great program. People leave inspired. People leave feeling different about their community and themselves, and it just feels like a family reunion, really.
What time is this event tonight?
So it's at the Epson Center. The doors open at 6, and then dinner starts at 7, and the program runs to about 9. And the program itself, as far as what we present, is going to end before 8. So then if people, go to bed early, which the older I get, the earlier my bedtime, I'm really knocking off about 8:30
I'm a
nowadays.
qualified participant in that.
Yeah,
myself.
right. So, I mean, it's okay to leave at 7:50, 7:55, 8 o'clock, but the people that want to stay and have more fun, there's live music, they can dance, they can do live auction stuff. And we got 12 tickets left. We really would love to sell out. It's $60 if they buy before the event, and then if they come to the door without a ticket and want to buy, it'll be $65 at the door.
Robbie's House, nonprofit organization, correct?
Yes, sir.
And that 501c3.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Basically your ticket becomes a contribution.
Yes.
And obviously there's some benefit that you do derive from the ticket purchase, but
Yeah.
the benefit to Robbie's House, how are you using the funds? What growth? What goals do you have for this project's money and
Sure.
revenue? What are you planning?
So
to use them for?
we're looking to do two things, and this is important because unlike other nonprofits in different states, the only government funding we have represents 3% of our budget. 3% comes from public funding. 3. That means 97% of the time we are in the woods hunting for our food every day. So we only survive and we only exist because of the generosity of our community. And that's what I want. I want our community
Earn it.
to fund us because we are looking out for Laramie. We want Laramie to fund us, the people of Laramie. That's what grassroots is.
Because they want it.
Yes. And so what this is going towards is we are actually operating in one of the oldest buildings in Laramie. We're actually going to try to get it registered in the National Historic Registry or whatever it's called.
Sure.
It's one of the oldest buildings in Laramie. I believe it was in the 1870s that it was built. And so the electrical stuff is needing to upgrade, the plumbing. So we're hoping to do a very sorely needed upgrade of our kitchen's electrical, adding some fuses and stuff, which is going to be pretty expensive. And then the other part of what we're funding for is prolonging the amount of time that we have a generalist that we just hired actually yesterday to expand our operation, because I can't do it as much as I'm able to do it. So I'm doing half a generalist job and half a director's job, and doing half of both means I'm not doing well at either. So having that extra person come in means we can continue to grow and continue to support members the way they deserve to be supported.
You talk about Robbie's House. Where's it located?
So it's located at 312 East Custer, so it's right between 3rd and 4th Street.
Okay. Okay.
right by the Moose Lodge.
Right by the Moose Lodge.
Yeah.
And in that facility, you're making great things happen, and you're doing it with the support, as you said. You're hunting for food, and the operations go on. What's a week look like at Robbie's house? What are some of the things that are going on? I know there's meals, there's different things that are going on a weekly basis. Tell us about some of those.
Sure. So, originally, the model that we follow started in New York City almost 70 years ago. So it's a tried and true, scientifically tested, peer-reviewed model that works. We are part of the model. We're working on accreditation, but the day revolves around the work order day. And the idea is if you walk into the building and it's yours, when I talked about that difference, right? You're not being served, you're not a client, you're not a customer, you're not a patient. You are a member that is responsible for running the organization. That means you have to put the work in to run it. Literally, a member can ask and be able to do anything I do. If I go here, a member has every right to be sitting in the chair next to me doing it. If I want to do taxes and a member wants to do taxes, they have every right. I don't have a desk. I don't have a chair. I don't have a computer that's mine. I have nothing in that building that's mine. Everything's for the member, period. Yeah. But they have to keep that going. So they have to make sure the clubhouse is clean. They have to put on the meals. They have to do everything to make that clubhouse theirs. So what we do is we combine the work order day, which is getting all those things done. And what it does subtly is it takes somebody who's got poor sleep hygiene, is staying up all night, is staying isolated. They'd say, ooh, can you hold my lunch till 2 p.m? No, we can't. Get here at 12. Oh, I really wanted to say something, but I missed that meeting. Good. Get up earlier. Be on time for the meeting, and then you have a voice. What we've seen is people that stay up all night and come to a clubhouse at 2 o'clock, 6 months later, they're showing up for the mid-morning meeting because they want to have their voice. They're getting to lunch on time because they want to have that community involvement with their friends. So it establishes a better schedule that's more productive and more connected to society. You cannot stay up all night alone in your apartment and sleep till 2 o'clock in the afternoon and find opportunities in this world, period.
Positive choices, positive results.
Yes, sir.
Sounds like plain and simple.
And then after our work order day is done, we have writing groups, we do watercolors, we have a wonderful ceramics program. So we
broaden your horizon in the evening.
Yes, and we have the most. I'm going to put it right down on the table right now. We have the most vibrant wellness program of any clubhouse in the world. Period. And we're fighting the clubhouse on it because they say, oh, you guys got to work more. So we're following the model, but like they're the Navy and we're privateers, right? So we're not quite as disciplined in the model, but we know what works. We've got the data that shows what works. We know what Laramie wants. So that's what we're trying to do.
How many impacted since inception? Awesome.
So we just passed 100 members. We're at 103. And last year's gala, we announced our 50th member. So we've doubled.
Fast.
Yes.
Doubling fast.
It's doubling fast, and it's gotten so fast that I don't even know who's a member, and neither do our staff. They'd say, well, isn't Jeff a member? No, Jeff, I don't have paperwork on Jeff. How many times has he been in? So we're losing control of the whole situation because it's piling up. It's snowballing. But we want 1,000 members. We want 10,000 members. Yeah.
The community interaction, what engagement are you doing outside of Robbie's house with other areas of the community
Sure.
that you're most proud of?
Yeah, so we try to do 2 socials. We call them socials, like Saturdays or nights type of thing. And what we've talked about is having one that's just internally fun for our members and one that's kind of a give back. So like, for instance, for the last 2 years, we've helped with the shoe and backpack charity, which is a big deal to us. So we find opportunities to collaborate with other nonprofits to support them. So, for instance, we helped clean up the area around Home on the Range, which is the animal sanctuary.
Yeah, the animal haven.
Right. Mm-hmm. So we are trying to do things that are equitable with other nonprofits where we clean up around their corrals and then we get to hang out with the animals. And the shoe and backpack deal, they give us shirts, they give us food, they feed us or whatever, and we're helping with the shoe and backpack charity. So sure. We are seeking opportunities to essentially branch out and expand out in the community and go, with our blue shirts on, where can we make the most difference?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, I couldn't be more thrilled to meet you, Oscar Lilly, in Studio 255 at the Laramie Plains Civic Center. This is the Talk Shop, and Robbie's House having an event. One more time, all the details for, let's get those 12 tickets.
Yes, sir.
Gone.
Yes, sir.
This morning.
Yeah. So $60 a ticket. You can go onto our website, robbieshouselaramie.org, and there's a pop-up deal that takes you right to the tickets. They're $60. We got 12 left. There'll be 65 at the door if we have any left. So I hope, nobody risks showing up and we're out. And then it's at 6 o'clock at the Epson Center. We have a social hour for an hour. We have ceramics for sale that members have made. That's real high quality, real wonderful stuff. And then we have dinner at 7, catered by Nick's Catering, a cowboy meal, live auction, live music with Larkspur. It's going to be pretty wild, and it's a swanky deal. It's the most swankiest thing I've ever been a part of, which isn't saying a lot because I'm just a dumb, poor country kid from Wyoming. But we were all dressed to the nines last year, and we had soft jazz playing, and we had our flutes of champagne. I mean, it felt like something from a movie.
Pretty classy.
So,
good.
Yeah, it's
good.
the social event of the season. You can't miss. So
It's going to be at the Epson Center, right on North 3rd Street, and we're visiting with Oscar Lilly from Robbie's House.
Yeah.
If you want more details, I heard robbieshouselaramie.org.
Yes, sir.
And Oscar, thank you for joining us.
Thank
Don't
you.
be a stranger to the Talk Shop. Bring it back here, and the door's always open.
Right. This wasn't painful at all,
Friday.
so I don't mind coming back. Yeah,
Good.
it's good.
Good to have you. Good to have you. And great things, great work. And thank you for what you do in the
Thank you.
community.